Dr. Kemi Rotimi joins us now. He's an author, historian, and an analyst. His special interest on policing in the country. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's interesting. You've done extensive research work on policing in Nigeria, going down lots of history, memory lane. But of course, this just comes to mind now. This major change. We've got new acting Inspector General of Police. Nigerians expect so much from this. How do you see this? Is it going to affect anything?
Not much, unless Mr. President takes charge. The problem with policing in Nigeria is about the political will to do that which is right. This organization is closely tied to governance, and by the orientation from colonial times, the police in Nigeria is about regime maintenance, but they do more. But if people think that the change of baton at the level of IG will bring any significant change, they'll be making a mistake, and at the end of Mohammed's tenure, we'll go back again. Oh my God. Now, the policing that touches lives intimately, for good or for ill, is done by recruit constables to inspectors, not superior police officers. Superior police officers are largely desk officers. This will cause some disquiet in their ranks, but then we can always discuss this. Now, but these are the officers and men whose pay is delayed and whose pay is not given in full. Ringim is now history, so I can talk about him because I'm a historian. There's this report in the newspapers in 2010. The first one, firm uncovers fraud in police salary payment. Then there was Nation, 15th of December 2010. But there was a follow-up. Police officer charged with fraud. Next newspaper, Friday, 24th December 2010. I thought Ringin was going to use that opportunity to write his name in gold by getting at the root of that scandal. It's an age-old scandal in the police. Apologies to the officers who have served this meritoriously and have left, but this is the truth. And as a historian, facts are sacred, comments are free. When that scandal broke, and it was the IG himself, Ringim, who made some very startling revelations. Serious fraud in the payment of police salaries and allowances as well as ghost workers. I'm quoting what he said now. And he went on to say, daily we receive complaints from men in Abuja and outside that their pay has been unduly cut. Some state commands pay constables 16,000, some pay 18,000 without reasons. We are going to change those responsible. I suspect charges what they meant there. For this, government money is not a free thing for all to be converted to personal use. I have received complaints about how salaries are deliberately delayed. It shouldn't happen in the police because it is an embodiment of law and order. Anyway, then of course later some men from the Abia, Ondo, and I think Lagos commands were docked. We don't have to mention their names now. But what happened to that case? Until Ringim left 2 days ago, we never had the follow-up on that story. But that is at the root of the crisis, the internal problem of the police. So, Mohammed Abubakar is in office. Yes, he's welcome. We didn't appoint him. We're not going to remove him. But he can write his name in gold. First, let the man tell us what happened to that case. You don't need to punish those who have been doing that kind of nonsense in all of the command. If the police had followed through with that, you send a signal, very powerful.
Okay, but now that this change of baton has happened,
yes,
is it that those people who expect, or is it that there can be nothing he can do in terms of improving the security situation in the country? Because some people say, if you're the IG, you have to throw your weight around.
Which weight is he going to throw around? Now, this octopoidal organization, have you ever been to Force Headquarters? Somebody sits on floor 7. I've been there, and I've seen an IG once. There was a crisis in Abia. The man was on the phone to the AIG in Abia. There was a call from Mr. President in Nassau Villa. There was another call. He was walking about 4 phone. I was there. I won't tell you the time, so you won't be able to identify the IG. Now, how does a man like that function? How many eyes has he got? Decentralization is one of the things they have to pursue with vigor and with commitment. Not this zonal AIG. Make a man an AIG and he's going to grumble. He would rather stay and sit.
So with the structure we have on ground,
yes,
we can't do anything?
With the structure we have on ground, there is not much that you can achieve if Mr. President doesn't put his weight behind whatever police reform he wants to do. But
how does he put his weight behind?
Yes,
specifically.
Yes, I'll tell you what I read out, which I'm going to go back to, which I'll be going back to until placement of your studio, is that until you pay non-commissioned officers in full and on time, you will never get service.
Are you sure that, even if we begin to pay, because some people have said that even if police salaries are improved, say by over 100% or even 200%, that chances are that they will still not give service because they're already used to a particular way of life?
No. The answer is no. Capital. I'm talking of paying these people in full and on time. I'm not talking about increasing their pay. Every Nigerian wants more money, including university teachers who go on strike at the drop of a hat. Now, aren't we well paid? Now we go on strike every day. It's not about quantum of money. It's about paying in full and on time. And it's not Kemi Rotimi saying it. I read to you what IGP Ringim, former IGP, said in 2010.
No, but someone says that they're not well paid as well. Assuming now your full salary is 25,000 naira under the present circumstances. What really does that do?
Okay. The most contented group of workers in Nigeria are the lower people in the lower rungs, What do I mean? That little that you pay, if you pay it on time and in full, no problems. What Ringim referred to there is an age-old practice from any police history research. One chief of police in 1920s or early 30s, who first collect his men's pay, go to the market, buy cigarettes, trade with the money, then call them to pay. Hey, now you're owing me how much? In other words, he keeps his men indebted. He used to keep his men indebted to him.
That's how the payment is made?
Yes, 1930s, but it hasn't changed significantly. No, don't say, In 2010, Ringim talked about his men's pay being put in some accounts. Go back and read the stuff. So, I'm talking about paying them in full and on time. And this is a free recommendation to Mr. President, to the Sayande panel. Try this very simple option. Pay non-commissioned officers in full and on time for the next 6 months and see what change you get. They're committed, but their superiors manipulate their pay. I am not saying it, Ringim said it. But before he said it, we knew it.
Do you have faith in that panel? You look at the terms of reference and what they've been asked to do. Do you have faith that they will be able to accomplish it?
The panel is absolutely unnecessary. But any panel can be useful. But why is the panel absolutely unnecessary? Mr. Parasaya, the distinguished police officer, Mr. Kasimi Akagbosu, distinguished police officer, I don't like the presence of a general in the panel about police. But these people won't achieve anything or much because when you look at the terms of reference, not significantly different from the MD Yusufu panel, not significantly different from the Damadami panel, and I'm sure it's not significantly different from the Tamuna panel. I'm talking of 3 panels between OBJ and this current regime. This is a fourth. Now, whatever happened to the reports? I have the MD Yusufu panel report. Go and read it. We're talking of implementation of panel reports. Now you're talking about setting up a new panel.
And they said they will also implement it alongside with this reports.
Mr. Asayande was in the MD Yusufu panel. At least I chatted with that panel. I was finishing contribution when he came in. And he's been chairman of PSC for some time. I can tell you, The only term of reference that will be vigorously pursued is the one that is to remove people from service. Another purge. But when you have purged them, and when you look at that particular term of reference, you had better chase away everybody from the Nigerian police force and let's create a new one, not with Boko Haram and OPC.
But anyway, is that possible?
To chase away everybody?
Yeah.
Well, if Nigerians are distracted, because one of the terms of reference talks about why the police is so unloved or some such thing.
Yes.
This is a problem that there are some problems that you have with the police in Nigeria that are universal. Okay, criminal elements in the police. You have it in the UK police. You have it in America. There are some problems that are universal because people still don't appreciate this simple analysis that I make about what policing involves. Policing is about investing one man with state authority to affect the freedom of another. And anywhere in the world, people manipulate that kind of a thing. Once you wear uniform and you're enforcing some law or laws, that tendency is always there to misuse the thing. So the only term of reference there that can be new is the purge of the MPF. Yes, Parasande is well placed to do it as chairman of the PSC, but if the thing is done thoroughly, 3/4 of the people there now go.
Well, I think at the start of your talk, you did mention that some of these commissioned officers are basically desk officers, so to speak. But again, they get to, now we're trying to look at training. They get the best of trainings, and well, they spend more time in training. For instance, at the police school college in Kano, where they go to, the officers they spend as much as 18 months there. So how come that all of these knowledge will now end up being administrative officers when they should be able to pass on such to the young cadre or lower cadre?
Now, who says they don't pass on this? Which cadre do you want them to pass this on to? Do you know something about the socialization process in the police? You have been to a school, you come with your degree and all of that, B and Udil training, yes. It is these lower down officers who know about the policing, how you savor your service. So when you come and you're blowing your grandma looking at you, because policing is about it's a hands-on thing. Book knowledge is not the solution. For instance, you want to elevate Udil to a university. If they do it right, I may go there to fetch. But in a country where you have this army of unemployed graduates, you actually don't have to go through that route. Because we already have the people with degrees are already available. What they lack is police training in police work. So
that hands-on experience.
Yes, because when you have finished your training, you are going to go to the Solo police station and Udil police station and Ogolomabiri or wherever, and it is those ones who will teach you. I'll give you an example from my research. When in the police those days, just recruiting anybody. Later, people with standard 4, standard 6 came in. Only Badoman put this in very beautifully. So when these ones with education came, and then they will be writing reports. So these ones who didn't go to school but who have been doing the job, and they will say, was ready for you. You know what it means? You are writing too many was. Was ready, still for you, even now. You have graduate, ASP, yes sir, you are welcome. It is the sergeant, the desk sergeant who teach you what to do. A guy you want to get this stuff or you want to be blowing grammar. So it's not about training. What
if the sergeant had a degree? Would that attitude change?
You have sergeants with degree now. You have constables with degree. They acquire the degrees illegally by going to school without permission.
Any difference?
What is the difference? Are they not these ones that we teach? They come around. It's half reading, half walking, but they come in. We still give them the degree anyway. But it then goes back to boast about, with my BSc, they will promote me. Somebody is on my neck now wanting me to help influence this thing about. I said, did you take permission? Then she said, no. I said, so if you went to school illegally, it happens in every organization. You can't leave channels, you can't go now to acquire a degree where you're supposed to be working here. Then you come back later. Mr. Momo, I now have this MSc in communication, whatever. And the man says, welcome. When did you acquire it? So it's not about not having the education. It's about commitment to duty. It's about making them happy on the job. But the internal bit of it is what I've told you. Let their superior officers pay them on time and pay them in full.
Do they have pay slips? Someone was asking that. I don't
They
know.
do have pay slips. You want to force me to read through the whole of this. I don't know how much time you have, but when I leave your studio, go and read the story. This was printed for me before I came in here. They have pay slips. The manipulation of their pay slips is what the IG was complaining about. I told you, daily we receive complaints from men in Abuja and outside that their pay has been unduly cut.
Is it the 20,000 naira deductions allegations there too?
I don't know, because what the man quoted there, some state commands pay constables 16,000, some pay 18,000 without reasons. We are going to charge those responsible for this. Government money is not a free thing for all to be converted to personal use. I mean, salaries and emoluments that should have been paid by 27th and 28th of the month drag on and on. I will stamp this out completely. I have low tolerance for such conduct. I don't know. Did the man achieve it before he left?
Okay, but in one of your papers, which you delivered in 2000 about approaches to policing of a perplexed society,
Yes.
You talked about implementing new approaches.
Yes.
What new approach can we implement now to solve the security challenge we have?
So many. One, you have to take us back to my research orientation, i.e., in a federal state, you need more than a police organization. But because of the constitutional constraint, we can still make do with what we have now. But the Lagos state government has shown one approach that is viable and is doable. Through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, you know as well as I do how much money the Lagos state government spends on police and policing now. And it's been a delight working there. I'm sure Mr. Marvel Akpoibo, my good friend, now that he's catching fish in Lokoja, we know what the difference is between when he was CP Lagos and now CP Lokoja. They almost killed him the other day. But know him as I do, I'm not surprised. When he was CP here, he had a wherewithal. And at the last Lagos State Security Trust Fund, I don't know, a town hall meeting they call it, which is their AGM, I was there. By the time CP Alkali had delivered his paper or his report on progress since the last meeting, the hall rose and gave the man a standing ovation. Cool, calm, collected man, but demonstrated that if we have the means, we will deliver. But what do you have? You now have state governments, but for the fact that there is crisis in PDP in Bayelsa now, knowing civil as we do, or the police will have been inundated with these jeeps. These governors do this, they buy 3 or 10 jeeps and they invite channels and AIT.
Does it help anything?
How can it help much? Because it is incidental and the man you are giving it to know that you have no commitment. When you have given him the jeep and there is no money to buy fuel, and you know that police are particularly fond of my motor no get fuel, But what the Lagos state government does, that's a sustained basis. I'm sure Mr. Falato knows more about what's going on in LSSTF than even the government paying the money. In other words, you separate the two. LSSTF is a quango, but the government has demonstrated that that's an option, very viable. That's a state government, federal government relationship that works. The only sympathy I have for the Lagos state government is that it's going through the phenomenon that I would call responsibility without authority. They pay the money, but Mr. Governor can't just summon Alkali anyhow. But I'm sure they have a fine working relationship.
Have you made any recommendation or presentations to perhaps the Federal Executive Council? Because one wonders, why would they set up this panel or committee if they know that it will go the way of the previous ones?
No. You don't know the way of government. I'm not claiming to do myself. But you know that these things happen. You set up your own panel. Those other ones were set up by presidents other than Mr. GEJ. Now, this is the GEJ panel, yes. So, but there's not much I'm going to get from it. So, talking about making recommendations for the Executive Council, I'm an ESCO member. But I can tell you that I have reached out to very senior people in government in Nigeria in recent times. I hope Mr. Ringim will not have time to read the memo I wrote to him about 7 weeks ago, Because
you didn't get any reply?
No, up to now, no. He has been very busy.
The way you take, when I listen to you talk, well, anyway, this morning I told, are you optimistic that we'll get it right?
Why not? We have no other, number one, we have no other country. Number two, we have no other police organization for now. But what the Lagos State government has done, let other states
copy,
follow suit. Stop buying jeeps when you need them. And when the need is over, you go back again and sleep. I think 2 or 3 days ago, Mr. Kwabio, the Millennium Governor of Akwa Ibom, he saw all of those cars and then he presented it. But you saw more of military personnel than police when he was presenting it. Operation Mesa. Everybody has an operation. Do what is sustainable and what is enduring, like the Lagos State government has done. Because you have to persuade yourself as Mr. Governor that the security of the citizens of your state is primarily your responsibility. This is one matter where you cannot say, it doesn't concern me. I remember in 2000, I was trying to host a conference on what I call approaches to police in Nigeria in the 21st century or something like that. One government, I'll be specific, Ekiti State government, the secretary of government, they chased me with a cudgel. Why do you want us to be involved? Do we own police? I laughed. The man, of course, has since moved from AD to PDP. I don't know where he is now. But what we're talking about here is that the Lagos State government, realizing that the people of Lagos are primarily its responsibility, has put its money where its mouth is, and it is working.
Where can the people help? I mean, they're always talking about people lacking confidence in the police as it stands right now, and it seems that there is some work to be done from the end of the police. But how can the people help in this particular instance?
Which people now?
The citizens of the state.
What do you want them to do?
Is there anything you can do?
The only thing they can do is to give police information, but that's a risky venture. And anywhere in the world, it is risky.
Is that really true?
Yes, it is. Anywhere in the world, it is risky to give police information because with some luck, they won't betray you. But most of the time, they do. Whether it is British police or American. But the only thing the citizenry can do is to give police information. But when they go on air, especially when it is coming from the police, and in recent times, that SSS business has become television soap opera, another African magic. Because they have this spokesperson who goes on television to dramatize what SSS do.
Well, we'd like you to comment on this, if you will, before you go. There's actually a Plateau State government's white paper report of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Civil Disturbances in Jos and its environs, which was published in September 2001. Is it 2001 or 9? But there's a provision there talking about the Acting Inspector General of Police. And in that recommendation, I think sub 18, the Commission recommends for his ignoble role during the September 2001 crisis, which resulted in the loss of thousands of lives, that at the time, former Commissioner of Police, Plateau State Commander Laji M. Abubakar be advised to retire from the Nigeria Police Force, and in the event of his refusal to do so, he should be dismissed from the service. The government should forward this recommendation to the Police Service Commission for consideration and necessary action.
Fine grammar. Now, the good Trinity. Now, who set up that panel? The federal government or the Plateau State government?
It's a Plateau State government report we see here.
If it is the Plateau State government that set up the report, and whatever, the Plateau State government, if it had problems with the incumbent Commissioner of Police at the time, and this incumbent happened to be MD Abubakar, but because of the commonality of names, are you even sure that that MD Abubakar is the same as this one? You need to clarify that, please. Because
they already say the Plateau residents. I mean, if you look at the papers now, they say Plateau residents are already kicking against his.
Plateau residents are being silly. No apologies. Do they own the police? The MPF is the federal government's property. Mr. President decides who is going to be his IG.
But if they are to have confidence in this particular police under the Acting Inspector General of Police, isn't it important that that particular matter be addressed?
Mark, you forced me to mention what I was reluctant to say. I.e., you think the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, that the day will come when Mr. President will first hold a town hall meeting about who is going to appoint as IG? No. The IG of police anywhere in the world is the business of the head of government. In Nigeria, we have the two combined. The head of state is also the head of government. the MPF, Nigeria Police Force. It's not Plateau State Police Force. It's the MPF, the Nigeria Police Force. So Mr. President decides it's going to be his IG. I mean, I was at a seminar the other day, and this issue came up about appointment of IG. Of course, I asked them, have you ever seen an advert in the papers? The post of IG will be vacant tomorrow or next month. Interested people should apply. Mr. President decides who he makes his IG. When Ringin was appointed, if a man was appointed to be IG at the time Ringin was appointed, you want to concede certain things to Mr. President, he may know what we didn't know. Because that was the time of kidnapping, and Ringin was at the epicenter of kidnapping. Whenever it was removed, Ringin was made IG. But I know it from my knowledge as a student of society that Ringin and Mr. President worked together in Bayelsa at the time the Governor General, DSP, was captured. I remember I was in an office in the US when Ringin was being interviewed by the BBC. Where's the man? I said, the man is sitting in front of me. I want to arrange his removal to Abuja.